About time for another Coach Life. Pardon the noise. It's double action today. Got the exhaust and the AC because apparently it's 5,000 degrees in February. I don't know. It must be like 40, 50, but it was just zero. So I remind you, it's not just global warming, it's called climate change, all right? Yesterday was turbulent, and I just wanted to share a few stories. Might help you, might help me. Oh, also yesterday, my guy Window and Jay Pat pulled up, and they boy, and so it was nice. They was actually sitting right there. So it was nice to have that strong black male energy in the space. Now, had a heated debate yesterday, with a bunch of teachers. Probably two of us that are black, but anyways, we're reading this book called Visual Thinking, and Visual Thinking. I'm sorry, that probably didn't help. Visual Thinking, Temple Grandin. So now apparently there's a movie on it, all types of stuff, but the argument that the writer makes is we, as speaking about American society, have overemphasized literary thinking, so thinking in terms of thoughts, words, sentences, and we've ostracized visual thinkers who see images and shapes, and that's how they navigate and construct the known world. Now, we're 4 or 5 chapters into it, and the gloves are off, and everyone's like, yeah, this is good. It's nice to think about the way people are thinking. To yesterday, where everyone is like, yo, this woman designed a more ethical way to slaughter animals, and she's a paid consultant in the industry, whatever you call that, where you just kill a bunch of animals and that's our food. Now, don't get me wrong, I know I still eat fish, I'll eat meat if I want to. It's a debate that makes people feel some type of way, but overall, we were just coming to terms with the fact that how she addresses the idea. So she made it more ethical and also more efficient to slaughter animals. And the way she talks about it is very passe. It's not, and so that's what one of the teachers was saying, like what kind of, this is creepy. And it's given, like, one of them said it just reminds them of Nazi Germany and the Holocaust, and it was giving me vibes of like, well, if you can just see an animal as like and her argument is that she's making it more humane for the animals so there's less suffering. But the argument that was sort of a counter is, given that we've all had this moment to reflect deeply, to be still, be quiet, it's hard to go back to, well, it's just a way of slaughtering animals without also having some kind of acknowledgement, like, yeah, listen, I know, slaughtering animals is, but it's very, it reminded me of everyone I've ever met from Texas. I'm gathering, but it had a feel of inevitable, oh no, coffee splatter. It had a feel of inevitability, like, well, someone's gonna do it, or it's not gonna stop people from eating meat or whatever. And it was a great debate from my perspective, because you got to see like that new consciousness actually have to affirm itself. Like, do we really believe this is the best way forward, or could we possibly consume less meat, and would a better invention be a way of, so that's where it was. I was also inspired by, I don't want to make it too long, so I'll keep it there. We're having a lot of conversations about consciousness. So what I was going to say is I was inspired by a motivate this morning about black consciousness from a white dude, and he really lays it out. But we'll stay with the slaughterhouse gang convo. So I'm curious to know what other people think, because I'm always the odd man out in my circles. I think I already told the Coachlife story about going to the theater and asking for the Beyond Burger, and the guy said, it's always one. You know, but now it's like maybe it's 4 or 5 of us in a group, and maybe we're at a point where we can understand the benefits of actually, listen, don't get me wrong, if you are raised on a farm and you are engaged with the kill and you know the feeling and you've looked in the eyes and you've processed the meat personally, and you know, live your life. Like, thank you for being you. But if you just talking about Chick-fil-A, but you never thought about the actual chicken or the feels, like, stop pretending you don't feel. That's all. And you know, that's the debate that we're having. Do you feel or do you not? Because if you do, even the slightest bit, that's going to grow. It's going to gain momentum, and you're going to have to come to terms with it anyways. For all of you that have already experienced it and you came to terms with it, don't worry about it. But for everyone else who's like, well, maybe I shouldn't, I think it behooves you to think critically about it and actually tap in with your feelings, how you actually feel. So don't be like me with the foie gras in France. You can do it now. All right, Coachlife. Ciao.